Hi there. I would like to talk a little bit about clinical endocannabinoid deficiency syndrome and what in the world is that? So, this is actually a diagnosis that was proposed initially in 2004 by Dr. Ethan Rousseau in a series of research and articles that he put out in regards to endocannabinoids. And what are endocannabinoids? What is the endocannabinoid system? So, just like the cardiovascular system, just like the gastrointestinal system, just like we have a nervous system, we also have a system called the endocannabinoid system. And it's relatively new for many people who are unaware of it because it really was only recently found as part of our scientific research. As I said, Dr. Ethan Russo began writing about the possibility of a syndrome called clinical endocannabinoid syndrome, deficiency syndrome, excuse me, in 2004. So this is a relatively new discovery in science and in medicine. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit briefly about it and what is it and how do you know you might have it, and what is the impact and how do you solve the problem. So I'm going to make this quick, but hopefully touch on all of those pieces of information. So the endocannabinoid system is actually a system that runs throughout our entire body. It consists of chemical enzymes that both create and break down endocannabinoid chemical constituents. It also is consisting of the receptor sites, which are present on many of our body's cells, and then also the endocannabinoid itself. So our body is naturally developed to create its own endocannabinoids. And those are chemicals like a hormone, but a chemical that fits into the receptor site on certain cells in order to bring them into homeostasis and in order to produce a biochemical reaction that is a lock and key that is meant to increase and improve our cells' ability to function correctly, our cells' ability to live in homeostasis or in a balanced environment. We have CB1 receptors throughout our central nervous system, our brain, and our spinal cord predominantly. We also have the CB2 receptors, which are present in the peripheral parts of the body, particularly our reproductive organs, as well as our immune cells, our immune system cells. And so there's a, a significant impact of having endocannabinoids present and functioning correctly in our bodies to improve our immune systems. One of the places that we don't find a lot of endocannabinoid receptors is our heart and lungs, and that is very interesting. And one of the reasons why you don't get fatal overdoses of cannabinoids if you're using phytocannabinoids from cannabis or other sources, like you might have a fatal overdose of an opiate, like a narcotic that would actually stop your breathing or stop your heartbeat, and can create a fatal overdose situation. That is part of the reason why you don't see that with cannabinoids, and why cannabinoids can be a better option for improving pain and inflammation. And when we talk about cannabinoids and how they impact our immune system, they are primarily regulating or down regulating the inflammatory process that our immune system creates. So it actually is highly anti-inflammatory. Endocannabinoids are highly anti-inflammatory. And so where this comes into today, in our discussion about this in today's in 2020, is that over time, so our bodies are created to make our own endocannabinoids, but over time, we don't know why, but over time, and most likely due to lifestyle factors and chemical exposures and things like that, we do not produce enough endocannabinoids out in our own bodies to produce the homeostasis that we need to decrease the inflammation the way that we need it. And a lot of that has to do with the way that we live, the way we live our lives and other things that are going on in our bodies. And so many of us seek to improve those receptors and improve the level of endocannabinoids in our body by supplementing with phytocannabinoids. And what are phytocannabinoids? They are essentially a bioidentical endocannabinoid that comes from the plant kingdom, in particular, in the where you find the highest percentage of cannabinoids, phytocannabinoids in the plant is in cannabis. And when we talk about cannabis, people think marijuana, they think illegal drugs, they think gateway drug. And really, when I am talking about supplementing with phytocannabinoids, I am primarily talking about using a very low, non-psychoactive CBD or full spectrum cannabinoid product from hemp. So hemp, industrial hemp, as opposed to marijuana. And these are very different plants. They come from the same plant kingdom, but they are very different, not only in how they look, how they grow, how fast they grow, their life cycle, and how tall or short they are. There's a lot of differences between the two, including the chemical constituents that are present in them. When you speak about marijuana or you speak about that side of cannabis, you are talking about a plant that's been cultivated over time to have higher THC levels. And there are many chemovars, they're called chemovars, but they're different chemical profiles of different plants. Kind of like if you go to the grocery store and you're trying to pick out an apple in the fall, if you come from the Midwest and there's like 20 different flavors of apples, some, Granny Smith, and there's Gala apples, and I don't know, there's Red Delicious, and there's a million different kinds, and they all look similar, but they're not the same, and they don't taste the same. And the reason is because the chemical constituents in them is different, and because they are a different species of that classification of fruit, right? So the same idea here with marijuana or with cannabis is that there are different chemovars of marijuana that are created or grown for different chemical constituents specifically. However, when we talk about what is legal in the United States and across all 50 states, we're talking about industrial hemp, CBD from industrial hemp that has almost no THC. So you cannot get high from it. It is completely non-psychoactive. However, it comes with all of those benefits of that bioidentical endocannabinoid replacement, if you will. So it's like a bioidentical cannabinoid that comes from plants. And when you begin supplementing with that, it fills that gap where your body has not been creating enough. It fills that gap now, and it allows those cells, those receptors to be turned on, and it allows our bodies to create homeostasis in our cells. It decreases inflammation. It is clearly indicated in the research to be highly neuroprotective. And it helps with pain, both from decreasing the pain at the opioid receptors, but also by decreasing pain by decreasing inflammation. So it works in two different ways to improve pain. And so this can be an incredibly powerful plant to be supplementing with. And we have this entire endocannabinoid system in our bodies that has been ignored since 1937, since it was taken off the market and considered by the federal government to be illegal and illicit. And many of us been conditioned to feel weird about using this plant, but we should not feel that way. The chemical science is very, very clear that this is a plant that can be very helpful for our bodies, can be very helpful for our health and wellness. And I can tell you from personal experience, for me, using legal CBD from the industrial hemp plant, it has absolutely changed my life. And I won't go into the story today, but just suffice it to say that um, if this is something that interests you, or if you struggle with pain, if you struggle with immune issues, if you struggle with inflammation, and I think that pretty much covers most of America right now. Um, if these are things that you're thinking about or concerned about, please reach out to me. Let's talk about it. I will offer you a 15-minute free discovery call with me. I will provide the link here with this video so that you can easily set that up on my calendar. I would love to tell you more about it and help to educate you a little bit more about this and answer any questions that you might have. And then I also want to say that not every CBD is created equal. And in fact, there is only one company that I will use, and I have many reasons for that. But I will also share with you on the call. I will share with you what you need to be looking for in a product so that you can be sure that you will be helping your body and not harming it. So please reach out to me. I hope that this video has been helpful in some education on what the big deal is with CBD and what's going on with that in this world today. And I hope you will take me up on the opportunity to talk with someone who is in fact certified as an endocannabinoid practitioner and professional. I hope to speak with you soon. Have a fantastic day.